You finally get that raise you've been waiting for. Maybe it's 10%, maybe it's 20%. Maybe you even switch jobs and double your income. And for about 2 months, you feel amazing. You feel like you've finally made it. Like money stress is behind you, then something weird happens. 6 months later, you're back to feeling broke. You're back to living to paycheck, wondering where all the money went. If this sounds familiar, you're not crazy. And you're definitely not alone. My name is Mike. And I spend way too much time studying income psychology, lifestyle inflation, and why people making $200,000 per year somehow feel just as broke as people making $50,000. If you've ever wondered why your salary never seems to be enough, no matter how much you make, or why that big raise didn't solve your money problems like you thought it would, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you understand what's really going on. Here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to admit. Your salary feels like it's never enough because every time you make more money, you immediately increase your spending to match. This isn't a character flaw. It's not because you're bad with money or lack discipline. It's a psychological phenomenon called lifestyle inflation or lifestyle creep, and it's destroying your financial future without you even realizing it. Let me paint you a picture of how this works. You're making $50,000 per year, you're living in a decent apartment, driving an older car, eating at home most nights, shopping at regular stores. You feel broke. You tell yourself, if I could just make $70,000, I'd be comfortable, I could finally save money. I could stop stressing about bills. Then it happens. You get promoted, you get that new job, suddenly you're making $70,000. That's $20,000 more per year. That's $1,666 more per month after taxes. You should be saving a ton of money now, right? But here's what actually happens. Within 6 months, that extra $1,666 has vanished. Let me show you where it went. First, you moved to a nicer apartment. Your old place was fine. But now that you're making more money, you deserve something better, right? So instead of $1,200 per month, you're now paying $1,600. That's $400 of your raise gone. But it's okay, you can afford it now, then you upgraded your car. That 10-year-old sedan was embarrassing. Now that you're successful, you need something that reflects your new status, so you finance a newer car. Your payment went from $0 to $450 per month. Plus insurance went up another $100. That's $550 gone. You also started eating out more. When you were broke, you cooked at home. But now you're busy, you're working hard. You deserve to treat yourself. So instead of spending $400 per month on groceries and cooking, you're spending $300 on groceries plus $400 eating out. That's $300 more gone. Your wardrobe needed an upgrade too. You're in a better position at work. You need to look the part. So you dropped $2,000 on new clothes. Spread over the year, that's another $166 per month. You also upgraded to a better gym. Nicer haircuts, better personal care products. Add another $100 per month. Oh, and you started taking vacations, real vacations. You're putting $200 per month on credit cards for travel because you work hard and you deserve it. And you upgraded all your subscriptions, a better cable package, premium streaming services, nicer phone plan. That's another $100 per month. Let's add it up. $400 for apartment, $550 for car, $300 for food, $166 for clothes, $100 for personal care, $200 for travel, $100 for subscriptions. That's $1,816 per month. You got a $1,666 per month raise, and you're now spending more than your entire raise. You're actually worse off than before because now you have higher fixed costs and you're still living paycheck to paycheck. This is lifestyle inflation, and it's insidious because each decision feels reasonable in isolation. I can afford a nicer apartment now. True. I deserve a better car, maybe. I should eat out occasionally. Sure, but collectively. These small upgrades consumed your entire raise and trapped you at a new, higher level of spending. Here's what makes this truly devastating. It's not just that you're spending more. It's that you've increased your baseline expenses. When you were spending $3,000 per month You could survive a financial emergency or job loss with $10,000 in savings. Now that you're spending $5,000 per month, you need $20,000 in savings to have the same security. You make more money, but you're actually more financially fragile. This pattern repeats at every income level. People making $100,000 feel broke. People making $200,000 feel broke. I've talked to people making $500,000 per year who live paycheck to paycheck. Because no matter how much you make, lifestyle inflation will expand to consume it all unless you actively fight against it. Let me show you how this plays out at higher incomes. That's a massive $50,000 raise. They should be rich now, right? But watch what happens. They buy a house instead of renting. Now they have a $2,500 mortgage. Property taxes, insurance, maintenance, all in. Housing goes from $1,600 per month to $3,500. That's $1,900 more. They upgrade to 2 newer cars because now they can afford it. Car payments go from $450 to $1,200. Plus insurance increases, that's another $850. They start sending their kids to private school or expensive activities. That's $1,000 per month. They hire a cleaning service, lawn service, get nicer furniture. That's another $300. Just these upgrades consumed $4,050 of the $4,166 monthly increase from the raise. And we haven't even talked about the bigger vacations, the nicer clothes, the expensive hobbies, the tendency to not check prices anymore. Once again, bigger income, same broke feeling. Here's what's really happening psychologically. Humans are incredibly bad at adapting to good things. When something good happens, we feel happy for a moment. Then we adapt and return to our baseline happiness. This is called hedonic adaptation. That nicer apartment makes you happy for 2 weeks. Then it becomes normal, and you forget you ever lived anywhere else. But here's the problem. While the happiness fades, the expense remains. You adapted to the nicer apartment. It no longer makes you happy, but you're still paying $400 more every month forever. You've permanently increased your expenses for a temporary happiness boost. This is a terrible trade, but we make it over and over. The other psychological trap is called reference point adaptation. When you made $50,000, that was your reference point. Making $70,000 felt rich, but after 6 months of making $70,000, that becomes your new reference point. Now $70,000 feels normal, and anything less feels like a pay cut you can't go back. You've locked yourself into this new spending level. This is why lottery winners often end up broke. They suddenly have millions. They immediately inflate their lifestyle to match. Mansion, luxury cars, expensive habits, then when the money runs out, or won't return to their previous lifestyle, they've adapted to the new reference point. So they go broke trying to maintain a lifestyle their income can't support. Let's talk about peer comparison, because this is a huge driver of lifestyle inflation. When you make $50,000, you hang out with people who make similar money. You compare yourself to them, their apartments, cars, lifestyle, you feel normal, then you get promoted to $100,000. Now you're working with people who make $100,000. They have nicer things. They take better vacations. They spend more freely. Unconsciously, you start comparing yourself to this new peer group. Your perfectly fine car now seems shabby compared to theirs. Your apartment seems small. Your clothes seem cheap. So you upgrade to match them. You're not trying to show off. You're just trying to feel normal relative to your new peer group. But this comparison trap means you'll never feel wealthy because there's always someone making more. Here's something most people don't realize. The difference between people who build wealth and people who stay broke isn't income. It's the gap between earning and spending. Someone who makes $60,000 and spends $45,000 is building wealth at $15, zero per year. Someone who makes $200,000 and spends $195,000 is building wealth at $5,000 per year. The person making less is actually getting wealthier faster. This is why you see people with modest incomes who retire comfortably, and people with huge incomes who work until they die. It's not about what you make, it's about what you keep. Every dollar you spend is a dollar that can't be invested. Can't compound, can't build wealth. Lifestyle inflation is the enemy of wealth building. Let me show you the math of what you're giving up. Let's say you get a $20,000 raise. After taxes, that's about $15,000 more per year. If you inflate your lifestyle and spend it all, you get temporary happiness and permanent expenses. But what if you saved and invested that $15,000 per year instead, at 8% returns? After 10 years, you'd have $217,000. After 20 years, you'd have $687,000. After 30 years, you'd have $17 million. That single raise, if invested instead of spent, would make you a millionaire. But most people spend it on a nicer car and bigger apartment and wonder why they never get ahead. Here's another way to think about it. Every permanent expense you add is a claim against all your future income. When you increase your rent by $400 per month, you're not just spending $400 this month. You're committing to spending $400 every month forever. That's $4,800 per year. For the rest of your working life, you'll need to earn at least $4,800 more just to maintain this one upgrade. If you work for 30 more years, that's $144,000 in future income that's now spoken for, before you've earned a single dollar of future raises. You've already spent $144,000 of it on a nicer apartment. Multiply this across all your lifestyle inflation decisions, and you can see why your salary never feels like enough. You've already spent your future raises before you got them. Let's talk about fixed versus variable expenses. This is crucial to understanding why lifestyle inflation is so dangerous. Variable expenses can be cut if needed: eating out, entertainment, shopping. If you lose your job, you can stop eating out. Fixed expenses can't be easily cut: rent, car payments, insurance, subscriptions. If you lose your job, you still owe all of this. Lifestyle inflation primarily increases fixed expenses. You move to a more expensive apartment with a lease. You finance a more expensive car with a loan. You commit to services with contracts. Each raise should be decreasing your fixed expenses as a percentage of income, giving you more flexibility and security. Instead, lifestyle inflation increases fixed expenses in absolute terms, making you more fragile. Here's the paradox. The more money you make, the more stressed about money you become because you have more stuff that can break. More services that need paying, more subscriptions to track, more insurance policies, more maintenance, more everything. Someone making $40,000 living simply has fewer money decisions and less stress than someone making $120,000 living lavishly. Let me tell you about the happiness research. Studies show that happiness increases with income up to about $75,000 to $90. Zero per year. After that, more money doesn't make you happier. Why? Because up to that point, money is solving real problems. You can afford decent housing, reliable transportation, good food, basic security. After that point, you're just buying nicer versions of things you already have. The happiness difference between a $30,000 car and a $60,000 car is minimal and temporary. The happiness difference between no car and a $30,000 car is huge and persistent. But lifestyle inflation pushes you to buy the $60,000 car, spending twice as much for almost no happiness gain. This is why people making $200,000 don't feel twice as happy as people making $100,000. The extra money is wasted on marginal upgrades. So, how do you break the cycle? First, you need to recognize that lifestyle inflation is the default. It happens automatically unless you actively prevent it. Every time you get a raise, your brain will generate reasons why you deserve to spend it. This is normal, expected it, plan for it. Second, implement the 50-50 rule. When you get a raise, commit to saving or investing at least 50% of the after-tax increase. If you get a $10,000 raise, that's $7,500 after taxes. Commit to saving $3,750 and you can spend the other $3,750 on lifestyle upgrades if you want. This way you're improving your life while also building wealth. Third, be intentional about lifestyle upgrades. Don't just automatically inflate across the board. Choose the upgrades that actually matter to you. If you love cooking, maybe upgrading your kitchen makes sense. If you don't care about cars, keep driving your old one, spend on what you value. Save on what you don't. Fourth, maintain some lifestyle elements from when you made less money, keep some old habits, keep cooking some meals at home, keep some cheap hobbies, keep some frugal practices. This serves two purposes. It keeps your spending down, and it reminds you that you don't need luxury to be happy. Fifth, Automate your savings. When you get a raise, immediately increase your automatic retirement contributions or savings transfers. Make the savings happen before you see the money. If you never see it in your checking account, you won't miss it. And you won't inflate your lifestyle around it. Sixth, practice gratitude for what you already have. Most lifestyle inflation is driven by adaptation and comparison. We forget how good we have it and we compare ourselves to people who have more. Regularly remind yourself of what you have. This sounds soft, but it's actually a powerful tool against lifestyle inflation. Here's a thought experiment. Imagine you got a 20% pay cut tomorrow. What would you cut from your life? Could you survive? Most people could pretty easily, actually. This reveals that much of your current spending isn't necessary. It's just lifestyle inflation. You could live on less, you just choose not to. Now flip it. Imagine you got a 20% raise tomorrow. What would you spend it on? Be honest. You're probably thinking about upgrades, nicer things, more stuff. This is the trap. Your instinct is to spend raises, not save them. Understanding this instinct is the first step to overcoming it. Here's the hard truth. Your salary will never feel like enough until you break the lifestyle inflation cycle. You could make $1 million a year and you'd find ways to spend it all and feel broke. The only way to feel like you have enough is to stop increasing your lifestyle every time your income increases. This doesn't mean living like a miser. It doesn't mean never enjoying your success. It means being intentional. It means choosing carefully what you upgrade and what you don't. It means understanding that the path to financial security isn't making more. It's keeping more. The wealthiest people I know don't look wealthy. They drive normal cars, live in reasonable houses, and you'd never know they're millionaires. The people who look wealthy with luxury cars and designer everything are often broke. They're spending everything to maintain the appearance of wealth. Real wealth is what you own, not what you show. So here's your challenge. The next time you get a raise, don't change anything for 90 days. Keep living exactly as you are. Let the extra money accumulate in your account. After 90 days, decide intentionally what. If you want to upgrade, commit to saving at least half the increase. This simple practice can transform your financial life. Your salary feels like it's never enough because you keep moving the goalposts. Every time you get more, you spend more, and the feeling of enough stays just out of reach. The only way to feel like you have enough is to decide that what you have right now is enough. Then when you make more, you'll actually have more instead of just spending more. The choice is yours. You can keep chasing that next raise thinking it'll finally be enough. Or you can break the cycle right now with the income you already have. Because I promise you, no amount of money will ever feel like enough if you don't learn to be satisfied with what you have. Make the choice. Your future self is counting on it.